The last speaker at this year's Connecting for Change conference, much anticipated talk, was given by Bill McKibben. Bill McKibben is the author of a dozen books about the environment, beginning with The End of Nature in 1989. You know, I could say a lot about Bill McKibben from here, from the bio, but I know we have very little time. So, Bill, will you tell us about 350.org?
Sure. 350.org is the first big global grassroots climate change movement. It takes its somewhat odd name from what the scientists tell us is the most carbon we could safely have in the atmosphere, 350 parts per million. A number, sadly, that we're already well past. The atmosphere is about 395 parts per million CO2, which is why the Arctic is melting. It's, you know, why we're seeing drought and flood and an acidifying ocean. It's why we're in trouble. We organize in pretty much every country on Earth except North Korea. And CNN has called it the most widespread political activity in the planet's history. At the moment, we're really gearing up to try and take on the fossil fuel industry as an industry because we think it's the heart of the problem that we face.
Do you think that we will be able to survive climate change as a species?
Oh, I imagine no matter what happens, some part of our species will survive. We're an adaptable lot, but it's already impossible. I mean, there are already many, many, many people dying and being sickened by the rising temperature on this planet, and most of them are people who've done nothing to cause the problem. And we're very much at the beginning of this crisis. Unless we get our act together, the temperature that's risen 1 degree so far will go up 4 or 5 degrees. Clearly that will be untenable for civilizations. Our species will make it through probably, but not the world that we know.
And is that happening quickly?
This year we watched the Arctic melt away almost completely in the course of the summer. We've taken one of the biggest physical features on Earth and broken it. When we look at the ocean, if we stick a strip of pH paper in, it comes out a different color than it did 40 years ago. The ocean's about 30% more acid. So yeah, things are happening very fast.
What motivates you, Bill McKibben?
Oh, the fact that there are people all over the world willing to fight, especially people who didn't cause this problem, seems to me to confer an obligation on all the rest of us to do all that we can. And, you know, I very much like the world that I was born into. It's a very sweet, still, beautiful world. It seems well worth one's life's efforts to try and keep it a little bit intact, you know. Also, some part of me is just annoyed by the fact that we don't need to do this, that our big brains have been sufficient to give us early warning and to provide the possible alternatives. And now we just need to summon the kind of big heart connected to that big brain to really do what we need to do in the short time that we have. So I like human beings, and I don't want to think that we're just too dumb or stubborn not to do the things that we need to do.
So you are seeing many people sign up on 350.org.
There's definitely, yes, all just across the world, there's a big resistance rising in all kinds of ways, you know, big civil disobedience going on and people doing all kinds of things. We also see a big reaction. The fossil fuel industry pours ever more money into this fight, and I would be lying if I told you we're winning. We're losing. But we're losing a little closer than we were a few years ago, and we'll keep trying to fight.
Are you confident that if Obama is elected, he will be more caring about the environment?
I'm not confident. I think that it's very clear that should Obama be elected, we'll need to press him incredibly hard. That's how it works. You know, fossil fuel industry is so powerful that it, you know, unless there's an active resistance, no politician can or will stand up to their power. So the best favor we could do Obama and his legacy is to press him hard as hell to do good things.
And I have one more question for you. Why is it a lie that clean coal is clean?
Well, when you burn coal or any fossil fuel, you release all kinds of things into the atmosphere. When people talk about clean coal, they usually mean that you've been able to get rid of some of the trace gases, nitrogen, sulfur compounds, which you can do by putting scrubbers on smokestacks. The biggest problem we face, however, is carbon dioxide, which is not a trace gas. It's the main thing you get when you burn coal. And there's really no way to burn coal without producing it in volumes too large to handle by any economical means that we know of at the moment. So, you know, coal is a disaster, as is gas, as is oil. Fossil fuel is the trouble, and we need to move from energy from below to energy from above, and we need to do it fast.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you guys very much.